So for those of you who are not aware, we are the official cybersecurity partner for Formula One. That's the connection here. And we're going to be talking a little bit about F1 Academy. We have here Jessica Hawkins and Tina Hausmann. And Jessica Hawkins is a British racer I've had the pleasure of interviewing a couple of times. She got her start with British touring cars. She's had several wins in the UK. She's also competed on the all-female W Series, where she was a podium placer. She just made her debut in the GT Championship, and she is a stunt driver. She toured with the Fast and Furious Live. She's been in the James Bond movie, Time to Die. Just a few highlights from Jessica's career. Tina Hausmann competes for her local Swiss team for F1 Academy. And we're going to be talking about F1 Academy, which is brand new and headed by Jessica Hawkins. So first off, thank you ladies so much for being here. Tell me what's new and exciting with the Formula One team since we last spoke.
So I was here this time last year for the same event. So I guess lots has happened since then. I've test driven a Formula One car twice actually, which was the first time, obviously the best experience of my life and something that I've been pushing for and working for a very long time. And it went very, very well. So yeah, best day of my life, and hopefully again soon. Also, I've started working with Tina, our young F1 Academy driver. So the team is always developing. There's always more going on. There's always new technology. We're always pushing boundaries. We're always looking for new ways to try and win, because Formula One is one of the most high-paced moving sports, moving circuses in the world. So it's really important that we look for these new technologies, and we work with sponsors that are able to keep up with the moving technology. So lots happening in the Formula One team. It's great to be back, so thank you for having me back. And yeah, here we are.
Awesome. I'm excited to hear a little bit more about F1 Academy. I want to bring Tina into the conversation as well. Tina is only 17 years old, still in school. You've been racing, you told me, since you were 7 years old? That's incredible.
Yeah, I started racing when I was 7 years old. My family has nothing to do with motorsports, but I saw go-karts and I knew this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I got a lot of support from my family and got to drive go-karts, and I loved it. And it all processed from there, and now I end up in F1 Academy representing the Aston Martin Formula One team on the grid.
Amazing. So how has that experience been so far?
Oh, it's great. It's an amazing series. So we are 15 drivers, all females, and we get to race on 7 different circuits this season, such as Miami, which was this weekend. Yeah, it's amazing. I'm really, really proud to be there and to go on this journey together with the team and Jessica.
And Jessica, tell me a little bit more about F1 Academy, about what the inspiration was behind it, what it's like being head of F1 Academy.
Yeah, so I think this is all aimed at finding a future Formula One driver, female. That's what everybody wants. That's what everybody's pushing for. So I guess Formula One Academy is not only giving opportunities for the current females and giving them opportunities that they wouldn't have without the series. Not only that, it's creating a platform for younger female drivers to turn on the television and realize that motorsport and becoming a racing driver is a possibility for them as well. Because if I look back and think, you know, if young 8-year-old Jessica turned on the television and watched put Formula One on, she wouldn't have known that she was even able to compete, because there are no other women racing. So I think it's creating a platform to inspire the younger generation. We'll then see more females coming in at a grassroots level. So then we'll be able to see, it's normal, right? That people at grassroots level, there are so many karters. When you move up to cars, a few of them filter out for whatever reasons. And as you move up the ladder, people fall off the ladder for whether that be they're not good enough, or they don't have the right budget, or they don't have a piece of the puzzle that they need. And I think if we can start with more females, the more chance we have of a female making it all the way to the end. And I don't think we've actually made real headway until a female making it to Formula One isn't a milestone anymore. So not only do we want one, we want to see more and more coming into the sport and being in there at the end. They don't just put anybody in a Formula One car, you know. There was a proper test, a test where they allowed me to push the same as what they would their current racing drivers. So we're making headway on that as well. So, and that inspired a lot of the younger generation as well. So we're making headway. We're not quite there yet, but we need to keep pushing.
Then that must have felt like a big milestone for you, becoming a test driver. What was that experience like for you emotionally?
I still struggle to put into words what it felt like. It was obviously an accumulation of lots of hard work over my 21 years of racing, all coming to like a peak. And it was everything that I dreamt it would ever be and more. And even just to have the trust from the team to put me in the seat meant a lot, let alone actually doing it. So my senses were alive, as you can imagine. I've driven fast cars, I've driven cars with good brakes, I've driven cars with everything that you'd ever want from a car. But the Formula One car, I can't even explain what it feels like. Every single sense is on the highest of high alerts, and yeah, it's not really comparable to anything. It's just, yeah, and it went so well as well, which was a great thing.
So, you're in a very male-dominated industry. I'm in a pretty male-dominated industry. You even more so. But what do you think it would take to get more? I mean, obviously, you're doing that work with F1 Academy, but what is it really going to take to get female racers on the track?
I think that goes back, well, funny actually. So the cybersecurity, we were having a conversation with SentinelOne, and we were talking about the synergy between the two worlds. And it seems like in cybersecurity, there are so many parallels with motorsport in the way that it's heavily male-dominated. And I'm sure from your point of view as well, we just need to create more of an aware and more safe space and available to young women. But what I do think is that we just need to keep pushing. We can't expect to see miracles overnight, but I think an accumulation of very small, pushing where we can and being passionate about it, that will pay dividends in the future, and we'll start to see more and more women working in these areas.
What about you, Tina? What do you think it'll take to see more women on the track?
So I think now with Formula One Academy, we have a good platform and a good base for that. So we get more track time and we get to do a lot of races with many, many people watching. And I think this helps to start this journey. So it's changed a lot. So there are so many female fans, there are female engineers, female mechanics now. So I think we're on a good way, but it still needs some time. But for sure, Formula One Academy helps a lot. Also now there will be a Netflix series about Formula One Academy, which is amazing. This will bring so much more spotlight on us. And more people seeing us driving in Formula One Academy, they will think, oh, I can do this too. And they maybe will start their own racing career.
Absolutely. If I could throw you both a couple of curveball questions, what has been your most exciting, if you could you pin it down to a moment, or the most exciting time in your career so far?
So for me, it's been two. Last season, it was my rookie season in Formula 4. And in the two championships I did, I won the female title. So
congratulations.
Thank you very much. These two moments were for sure great. And now joining the Aston Martin Aramco Formula 1 team is for sure the second best.
Amazing. How about you, Jess? What's your favorite moment so far?
That is a really, really hard question. But if I had to pick one, it would... You all know what I'm going to say anyway. It's driving in the Formula 1 car for the first time. But there has been so many different milestones on the way that it's very, very, very difficult to pick just one. But if I had to, it would be that.
Amazing. I want to open it up to questions. Do we have any questions for Jess or Tina? Any brave people want to ask some questions? If not, I have more questions. But I wanted to leave time in case there were questions.
We can have random questions as well.
So in Miami, did you do it after the race or before the race? And whose car did you drive?
No, I didn't drive it in Miami. I drove it in Budapest. Yeah. I think it was Sebastian Vettel's 2019 car. Yeah. And it was amazing. Lap times. I can't disclose them. They don't. It's not just. I got asked that question so many times. They weren't just keeping mine a secret. Quite regularly, young drivers test Formula 1 cars, and the results never get published because it's very difficult to. The day that I was driving it, the circuit may have been. There's always variation in the circuit. Sometimes you turn up and the circuit is really slow. Sometimes you turn up and the circuit is really fast. So it's impossible to give. If I did an X time on one day and Sebastian did an X time on another day, it's not really comparable. Well, it is to a certain extent, but not like really comparable.
Any other questions? I'm curious to know, ladies, what really inspires you? What motivates you?
So for me, it all started, as I said before, when I was 7 years old. And I cannot tell you what it was, but as soon as I saw that go-kart, I just knew it felt right. And I think I have this inner drive in me, which just motivates me. It's very difficult to find the right words. But for sure, I want to be a role model. I want to be on the top step to inspire other people. So I think it inspires me to inspire other people.
Love that. What about you, Jess? What inspires you to keep going even on those days where it gets really tough?
I can, for instance, Lando Norris won his first race on Sunday, right? His first Formula 1 race. And I can tell you that winning feeling is like none other I've ever experienced. No matter what I experience in life, winning and standing on the top of the podium and celebrating with the people around you that have helped you do it. If I could bottle that feeling up and sell it, I'd be an exceptionally wealthy woman. And I think we're chasing those highs, we're chasing feelings. And I think that's what keeps me motivated, because I know what it's like to experience those highs. I know what it's like to have that winning feeling. And there's probably many things that keep me going. But honestly, it's probably that. And seeing, the emotion come from Lando, that's genuinely what it's like. That's what it's like. And it makes all of the down days worth it.
I wonder, I can imagine it's probably pretty hard on your body physically racing, is it? Or what is that experience like actually in the car?
It's really kind of difficult to... I think it's taken for granted how fit you have to be a racing driver, especially racing in these really hot countries with cars that don't have any power steering. So Tina's car that she's racing doesn't have any power steering. So, and one thing that I will say is everything that you drive has a varying degree of physicality. So Formula 3 and Formula 2 are very physical on your upper body. Obviously your neck as well, but not quite as bad as Formula 1, whereas when you go to Formula 1, it's even worse on your neck, but not quite as bad on your arms. But these racing drivers race in the hottest of countries for a very long time, so you have to be physically very strong, but you also need to be able to last the whole race. So these athletes are the fittest of their kind, it's really taken for granted. So, and if you can't last the whole race, that's the difference between first and last. So you have to be as mentally focused on lap 52 as what you are on lap 1.
Can you talk a little bit about racing as a team sport, all of the people who you're relying on? It's not, we think of it as, solo, but really there's so many people you're relying on. You want to answer that one, Tina?
Yeah, so from the outside, it looks like driver gets all the attention. But in the end, you have a huge team behind your back. You have your mechanics, your engineers, and the whole team. Like, it takes so much to run a car, and that's underestimated. And yeah, it's unbelievable. It's a huge team sport, but unfortunately, in the end, only the driver gets the most of attention.
The driver gets all the glory.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's important to also put the spotlight on the team. They're doing an amazing job, and they make everything possible for us that we can have a good race.
Right. So many moving pieces and so much collaboration that has to go on behind the scenes, I can imagine. So what are you most looking forward to? Like, looking at the year ahead, what are you most excited about?
So, as I said before, we have amazing destinations where we race at. I'm really looking forward to Singapore, because when I was young, I've been there with my family and I saw the racetrack and I was like, I wish I would race here once. And now I do, so it's a dream coming true, and really excited. It will be tough because it's going to be super hot. So for example, this race here in Miami, I've lost 3 kilos over the 3-4 days of racing.
Oh, wow.
So cannot imagine how it will be in Singapore, but for sure we're ready for the adventure.
What about you, Jess? What are you most looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to seeing how the team progresses over the year, how Tina progresses. So in the racing that Tina is doing, it's no secret, Tina is lacking in a lot of experience compared to some of her competitors. So we as a team and from herself are expecting a steep learning curve throughout the year. So I know where we started, and I'm very excited to see where we finish the year, because I think she has a bright future ahead of her. She's very talented, and I'm excited to go on this journey with her.
It's really cool seeing you taking on this mentorship role. I mean, you already strike me as so young, and yet you've had this whole career and you're already mentoring young female racers, which is just amazing. So
I think it's just as rewarding for me to see when I see Tina winning races, it's just as rewarding for me as me winning races. When we do see the first Formula One female racing driver, there'll probably be some small degree of jealousy, but I'll be very proud that I've helped knock down those doors to allow her to make it there, because knocking down these doors now means that she won't have to in years to come. So I'll be very proud, but probably a little bit jealous.
Understandable, but as women, we all lift each other up together, and I think that's how we all win. So I love that. Well, congratulations to both of you on all of your wins so far and all of your future wins, and we hope to see you back again next year. Thank you so much, ladies.